Good afternoon. I am Amaya Ordorika Imaz, a drug policy and human rights researcher at the Mexican Commission for the Defense and Promotion of Human Rights. The security strategies implemented by many Latin American governments in order to fight the cultivation, trafficking, and possession of drugs have had damaging effects on the enjoyment of human rights in the region. Despite the numerous and high-cost efforts by the international community to implement prohibitionist policies, the objective to achieve societies free from drugs is far from reality, and human rights violations are increasing. In Mexico, the impact of the international drug control regime has been devastating. Since 2006, when a frontal war against organized crime was declared, violence, insecurity, and corruption have increased at an alarming rate. There is growing evidence which suggests that torture, enforced disappearance, arbitrary executions, and forced displacement are a result of the security policy implemented in Mexico, based on the deployment of armed forces to exercise public security tasks without any civilian control. The UNGASS outcome document fails to sufficiently articulate the binding nature of human rights obligations in the context of international drug control and continues to embrace the harmful concept of a drug-free world. And the recommendations pertaining supply reduction measures promote the maintenance of the very model that has resulted in serious human rights violations. Nonetheless, Chapter 4 does state that the commitment to respecting, protecting, and promoting all human rights, fundamental freedoms, and the inherent dignity of all individuals and the rule of law in the development and implementation of drug policies is key. Despite the limited inclusion of human rights perspective in the outcome document, the few mentions establish a necessary baseline for member states in the implementation of drug policies. Considering the outcome document and the member states' other human rights commitments, international cooperation should consider the guarantee of human rights not only as a cross-cutting issue, but as a key objective. In order to initiate a serious debate about the design of new public policies that regulate drug use, it is paramount to recognize the failure of the model which places a reduction of the supply as a priority. As this model has contributed to the increase in violence, to human rights violations, and the weakening of the rule of law in the countries most affected by drug production and trafficking. In this sense, international cooperation must place fewer efforts towards supply reduction and more towards guaranteeing people's access to basic human rights such as health, the right to a fair trial, the right to not be discriminated, the right not to be tortured, and the right to life. Thank you.